Good day, everyone. My name is Guru Prasad. Today, I'm going to take you through a very important training, a basic of everything, how the quality is defined in industry. Please feel free to download the material, the presentation from my website, succeedmanji.com, and I'm going to take you through the quality defined now. So let's start with slide number one, quality defined. Slide number two, agenda for this particular session. It starts with a case study. Second, it goes with the quality definition. Third, tips for entrepreneurs and managers. And at last, what's next? So after completing this particular program, so what would be the next? So what you're going to learn next, right? Next, move on to the next slide, slide number three, case study. Let's go with scenario number one. This case study is all about how two customers are buying a same car, right? So it starts with the scenario one here. Like Mark is a newly appointed manager in a big corporate, and this is the first time he's going to buy a new car. And like everybody else, he did a research in the industry. He went through the websites, he just referred a lot of papers, he spoke to his friends. Finally, he shortlisted three cars. Out of which he actually bought one. And if you want to know what are the three cars, he finalized Honda Jazz, Ford Figo, and Hyundai i20. Finally, he bought Hyundai i20, and let us know the reason why he bought Hyundai i20 in the forthcoming slides. Let's move to scenario 2 now. And if you see here, Viola, she is a self-employed real estate broker. She already owns a car, but it becomes old. Now she is going to replace her car. As you know, the real estate broking job involves a lot of travel. She's going to take her clients around and she's going to travel around a lot. And again, she did a lot of research. She spoke to her friends and she spoke to a lot of dealers. She understood what is the new models that is arrived in the industry. And finally, she chose three cars again, out of which she bought one. And here, the final three cars that she actually chose is Hyundai Brio, Ford Figo, and finally Hyundai i20. Again, if you see here, Bala has actually bought Hyundai i20. Let us know the reason why she actually bought Hyundai i20, and why Mark has actually bought Hyundai i20 in the forthcoming slides. And if you see here, Mark actually bought Hyundai i20 for the reason because it is an affordable car. At least within his budget, because he got just promoted, he has some money to buy a car, but he has to buy a car within that particular budget. And the next thing that actually attracted Mark is the brand value. Third is the safety features. Fourth is the mileage. And at last is the comfort drive. Mark had all these five values in his mind. He expected a car, a product, has to deliver all these five to him. And he was convinced himself that Honda i20 is a car that delivers all these five values to him. On the other hand, if you see Viola, her first priority is comfort drive. And if you know the reason why is because her nature of job demands that. So because she has to travel for a very long distance, she has to take the client with her, client should feel comfortable driving with her, and all those things. And at the next priority list for Viola is the mileage. As you know, again, she has to travel for a long distance, and mileage is a key expectation from Viola to make sure that she chose Honda i20. And at last, it's going to be the safety features. And if you go to the next slide, slide number 6, ideally you can visually see that there are two different customers who actually chose the same product, but it's actually for the different reasons. So how do you define the quality here? So what is the quality for Mark to buy this particular product? And what is the quality for Viola to buy the same product here? It's completely different. And ideally, the conclusion says, if you go to next slide, slide number 7, the actual conclusion is quality cannot be defined. It is the utter truth that quality cannot be defined. The reason why is like it differs from person to person, it differs from product to product, and it differs from services to services. And if you really see this case study here, at least the same product, but the quality expectation of Mark is completely different from the quality expectation of Viola. And the next thing that you want to know is like quality doesn't mean luxury. It's not like a Mercedes-Benz car is a high quality car when compared with Honda i20. Again, it differs from customer to customer base. Ideally, a person who is a rich class, for a Mercedes Benz might be a good car. For him, the i20 might be a low quality car. But a person who actually falls in that particular positioning is actually defines the quality according to the positioning. Ideally, for Mark and for Byla, they fall in the upper middle class, where for them Honda i20 is the best car within that particular class. And the next thing that you want to know is like quality doesn't cost more. It's not the quality that defines the cost. It's the actual flaw in the quality adds more cost. For example, the repair cost, the servicing cost. It's actually the hit of the quality. So quality itself does not add cost, but the lack of quality certainly does. So that is the outcome of this particular case study. The next slide, slide number 8, it actually defines the quality, the term quality, and this is purely based on ISO 9000 and 2008 standards. And I'll read out this for you. Degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfills the requirements. And the requirements which we are talking about is always customers. It could be an internal customer, it could be an external customer, and this degree varies from customer to customer. And this characteristics again varies from customer to customer, and but the key thing is this characteristics is linked to your product or it's linked to your service. Yeah. And the next slide, slide number 9, I would like to give some tips for entrepreneurs and managers. And key thing that I want to convey here is like, first know your customer, understand who is your customer and how the customer is positioned, like how and whether he or she should buy your product, why they need to buy your product, and how they're going to see the value out of your product. So, in order to know that, you have to know your product or service as well, right? So, it's a combination of everything. You have to know your customer because then only you might know about the requirements of the customer. You have to know about your product. You have to know about your services. The reason why is like you have to know how this requirements come out from, like whether the customer requirements actually meets the expectation, right? Then you have to know the value from the customer, value for your customer. What is the value that you're going to give it to your customer through your product or through your service? And what's next? Actually, now if you are in a position to understand who your customers are and you know what's your product and what is your services that you're going to offer to your customer, the next is like you have to understand what is the voice of the customer. Ideally, was what customer thinks about your product, about your services, or about whatever that you're trying to offer to your customer, right? So the what next? In my next session, I'm going to cover the voice of the customer. And thank you for everyone who is watching my video now. And if you really need to use this material, please go ahead and please use it. And I have no copyright for this particular material. It's free of cost. You can go ahead, share my videos, share my presentations to them. And if you really like to edit this presentation as well, please feel free to do that. And thank you for visiting sixsigmag.com. And this is Guru Prasad. Have a great day. Thank you.